Good morning, and welcome to week 20 here in my Monday morning's mixed media project. I really hope I can get my fingers going this morning, because when I woke up here not so long ago, it was only 17 degrees here in my house, and that is not much. I like it if it is about 21 degrees, then it is fine by me. So, but now the sun is coming up, so I hope my house will get a little warmer. So, or else we would start the heating, but we will see. But I hope my fingers will get going. So I left you here last week with this piece here, and I can see I glued it down with gel medium, and it is sitting so nice. So my plan for today is, and you never know how it ends, but I don't know if you have been following my 21-day project where I have been jelly printing with chalk paints on my small round jelly plate, and I had these sheets black paper beside me, so I rolled off my brayer every once in a while, and it ended up with these 3 very lovely sheets of paper. And this was a wooden thing I stamped down at some point. So I think I will use these papers today here in the spread somehow, and then perhaps do a little something like this another place on the spread. And I have this little stencil. I bought it locally in Denmark, so don't ask me where to buy it. And when I've done with decided how I want them to sit, those papers, and I think I will do 2 big pieces ready to glue down. Then before I glue them down, I will do some stitching. It's because it's a long time since I have been stitching to such thin papers as this. So this is my plan for today, and let us see if I can succeed. You never know, and you never know if you like what you are getting. So just some small infos in the description box below here. There's a link to the playlist where you can see all the other pages I have made in this altered children's book, and there's also a video on how I altered the book. That was one thing, and the other thing is, my name is Lisbeth, and I'm a Danish abstract mixed media artist who likes to do a lot of different things. So if you are into jelly printing, slow stitching, journaling, collaging with both fabric and papers and all kinds of things, you have come to the right channel, and a warm welcome to you. So let us get started and see what we can get on the pages today. To start with the most obvious, and that is that image sitting there. So I know I want it to be on my page, and that nearly gives the rest, because I want one piece of paper only for this page, and the same at that side. So I think I will just mark up here. And I can also see this is about 13.5 centimeters. And it is, as I remember, 20 this way. So I think I will just put this away for a little while. And to get a straight edge here, I just think I will I think I want it. It doesn't matter if I cut a little of the top. And when I line this up here and at the other side, it should be a straight line over here. I can turn it the other way, and hopefully I can just carefully tear it off here. Yeah, that works fine. And the same I think I will do just here, there, and there, and use my thumbnails for scoring, like this, and hopefully I can tear it also down here. Yeah, that is fine. And then this will be sitting there. Then it is just to measure, and I said 13.5 centimeters. It is hard to see in this color here, but about there. And there's the mark, and there is the mark. So again, I will just score it and make marks with my thumbs. Turn it the other way and do the same. And that way, it doesn't matter if it goes a little over here, I can always cut it off. And the same here. So about there. I think I will, yeah, I can measure it. Well, it's 20 centimeters. It's about there. There's a little more. It's better there's a little more than too little, because you can always cut the edges of the pages clean when you're done. So off with that. So now I have a page here ready to glue down when I have done some stitching. So this would look like this. So now the big question is, what do I want on the other side? I don't think I want this orange. That is too much. So I think I will use this instead. And I think perhaps I like it like this. I don't mind there's some purple there and there's some blue there. So again, I don't think I will cut this off. This is about, is it 22 centimeters perhaps? Yeah, I can cut a little. And again, I will measure 13.5 centimeters in here. So let us see. About there. That is a good thing about measuring on papers you haven't done anything to. They should be straight. So yeah, did I do it right, or can I didn't do it. Okay, it is here. I thought it was crooked. And there's that line. Again, I will just tear it like this. And then I have my piece for this side and this side. And I think it looks really delicious. Yeah, so I will find a needle and some thread and figure out. No, I won't do that first. I think I will do an image like this with my little stencil here, and place it somewhere, something like this, because I like them to be diagonal. And I don't think it would work with that green one because you wouldn't probably see it. So perhaps I should take a gold instead. But I will think a little and be back. I have decided I want the stencil to be there, and yeah, I can see how green this is. Oh, yeah, it is really green. And then I have the gold, and yeah, there's nothing else to do than try and see if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it, and it looks a lot like this one, not like that mark there. So perhaps I should try the gold, or perhaps I can mix them. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think I will go for the gold. And it is better to dab a lot of times with less paint than dab a few times with a lot of paint. And it is also important that you press the stencil down. You can tape it down with some painter's tape or masking tape if you want it to be sitting exactly the same place, or else move your fingers around and take a peek before you remove it and see if you like it. Yeah, it is a little vain some places. So it is also depending on how much pigment there are in your paints. The cheaper the paint, the less pigments there are. But that can also be nice, that it isn't a layer like this. So I think this is fine. Not so visible as this piece here, but I can take my white marker and make some marks, and I think perhaps I will do that when this is dry. So I think it is dry enough now. So I have taken my Uniball Signo here in white, and I will just give it a between the small gold marks. Not a heavy thick line, but just a small little line in between here. So the gold will look a little more visible. You could also have chosen to take a dark purple and made it perhaps, and a black. Yeah, there are so many options. So don't hope I get dizzy spinning around here. And here, but just some this. So I think that helped a little. So now I want to do some stitching. And how do I decide what to do? Often when I have a piece of fabric or a piece of paper with print on, I look at, of course I look at the colors. That is the first thing, and this is quite turquoisey and some quite hush green, or it's a little hysterical green, perhaps you could call it. But that is one thing, and I could choose to embroider with black because you can see it all places here on this, and that could be an option. But I also have these two colors, and this is some old weaving yarn, and it is silk, a thin silk thread. And I think I perhaps will use these two colors. But when I look at it, I look at the lines, and if there are some places that could be obvious to stitch, because I don't want to stitch into that, and I don't want to stitch into that. They are there as they are. So, and I want them also to be cohesive. So the stitching I'm doing there, I want to be not the exact same, but I won't do cross stitches there and some other stitches there. I want it to be the same kind of stitching. And when I look at it, I see some lines. I perhaps just could do some straight stitches or some running stitches. Since this paper is quite thin, there are some stitches there. Yeah, it is possible to do, but there's a certain, yeah, perhaps you will ruin the paper easier with these stitches than with other stitches, yeah. But I can see there are some line there, and perhaps a line there, and there's a line there. Perhaps I could follow them with some straight stitches or some running stitches. And the same here, there's like a line there and going down there, and perhaps a line all the way down there. So that's, I think that I will go with this. And if we would take this one first. If I sew with the green in the green, you can see it some places, but not all. But if I sew with the green here over, yeah, you can perhaps see it very good either. I really don't know. But so let us take this one instead. This is more visible, I think. So I can go with this thread from there to there, and yeah, perhaps down there. Or I could go black. And the same over here. There in the green you can see it. Yeah, you can also see it up there. Perhaps it is not so smart to take this green one because there is so much green. I also have this dark olive color, and that could perhaps go instead of the black. Yeah, you can better see it here. So perhaps I would take these two instead. Yeah, I will start with the turquoise one and put that away. And I hope I am in frame. Yeah, I am. So I will do some straight stitches there and there. So I have taken the smallest needle I can thread and a pointy one. And I will just come up on one side of the line I can see here, and I won't make a knot. I can always secure it with a piece of tape afterwards, and then I go down at the other side of the line there, and I really don't pull hard in my thread because you can so easily ruin your paper. One thing you can minimize the risk of making holes where you don't want them is to back this piece of black paper with another piece of paper, or yeah, it is easy to stitch down because then you just poke your needle through, and you don't need a poking tool here, but it isn't so easy to see where to come up, so I pre-poke that hole. First, and I'm doing it in a little yeah, not the right way, because you start there and then you go this way, but I think this space was too big. So the next stitch will be there. So I pre-poke that hole, come up here. Whoops. And it is easy to see where to stitch down, because that is just putting the needle through the paper. And again, I will pre-hole here, and you can see it is so easy to stitch because it is such a thin paper. And I go down there and I pre-hole and I come up. And I go down. You can see it there. I will continue doing that all the way until there, and then I will turn and go down there, and then I will be back. So done with the turquoise thread. It's a very difficult word to say for a Danish tongue. So instead of using tape, I just think I will secure the thread by going under here, and I take my end with the eye and push up under the stitches and let it just sit there, and then I can, yeah, that was the wrong scissors, that was for paper, and this was better. So it looks like this. One other thing you can do, if you're quite certain what you want to do, is to poke the holes, all the holes, before you start stitching. And since I know there I wanted a long straight line down there, I think I will just take my needle and start up here. And I think I will do back stitches. So there I want the holes to have nearly the same amount of space between them. Opposite there, when you're doing running stitching like this, you want two holes with a long place between the holes, and for the space there, the next hole has to be closer to this. Yeah, I think you know what I mean. But I will just take my needle here and whoosh, that's a strange sound. And if you want it to be really straight, you can always take your ruler and place it where you want. But I don't think I want it that straight. I would just eyeball it and go for the line in the paper there. I don't think I like this sound. And all the way here to the other end. And you can see the hole is lining up there. And then I will just take this darker thread here and let us see if we can see it. I can always change it to the black if I think it isn't so visible. I will remove this ugly color pink there. So I come up in hole number 2 and go up in the go down in the first hole. There. And then I come up in the third hole and go down in the second hole. Come up in the fourth hole. And go down. You go backwards. You come up in the next hole where there isn't a thread. Coming up and go down where you had your thread there. Up in the next. There. And go down here. And if you don't like to do it this way, you can always do running stitches and so do it reverse on the way back. That will nearly give the same. Oops. And that's a good sign when you your needle is falling out of the hole, because that means that it is easy for you to stitch in the hole. So I can't remember if I said it, but the smaller the needle you can thread or you can sew with, the nicer it looks, because then it won't be such big holes. Especially if you then are using a thin thread, because if you use a very thick thread, you have to have bigger holes. So I think it is obvious. Yeah, you can see it there. I think it looks nice. So I will just continue all the way down there and show it to you. So done with all this row here. So I will just let my needle go in and out the thread here and cut it off. And I think this has gone inside by itself up here. So again, I'll just cut it off. So this is this, and I don't think this needs any more. So let us see what we can come up with here on this side here. Yeah. I think I will use this thread here and do the straight stitches in a row there for the first thing. And then I will do something down here with the darker thread, I think. So again, I will pre-poke with my, that is my finest needle. And I think I will just go like this. So I will recommend you save your roll-off sheets. You can get such nice things out of your roll-off sheets. And I can put a link to the playlist with my 21-day project where I show them to you during the process. So save them for something. I think I will stop here. Yeah, and I will do exactly the same as I did on the other side. And I'm using this quite thin. I think it is 60, it is NM60/2, but you can use any kind of thread. You can also use DMC plus and just divide it perhaps and only use one thread. That is totally up to you. But use what you have. That's what I'm doing. I have had these threads here for a long time. I think I have machine knitted with them at one point. So if you're anything like me and have done a lot of things, you probably have a stash of all kinds of things. So use them. Think out of the box. And we don't always need to buy new materials, even though it is nice to get new materials. Who doesn't like that? But often we buy something we just put in a box and forget to use. So use what you have. But I will stitch it all the way down here and be back. So done with the straight stitches there. And I think I will do a couple of rows of running stitches there. And with the dark olive color, one row down all the way, not over there, but down here. But I will do this first and see how that looks. So I'll turn it this way, it is easier to see. So punch my needle, and here is the stitch, and this is a space between, and a stitch, the space between, and a stitch, the space between, and a stitch, the space between, and a stitch until there. And I can do then there will be, I think I will make 3 rows. Like this. And I always start in the middle, and if it's possible, and not at the edge, because it is a little more fragile at the edge. So I will just start here in the middle and come up, and let this hang here so I can secure it afterwards. And then it is just going down in the hole, coming up in the next, down in this one, up in the next, and don't poke yourself up there, and down in the next, down, up, and down. And they look like this, and I will do 2 more. So here there is a little 3 rows with running stitches. So now I want to do the back stitches, and since I'm having a break there, I think it is nice to perhaps use my ruler so I can see where so I will get it lined up before and after the circle there. So I will just take my needle and punch some holes. and they are quite random in size. And now I will end here with this circle, and then I will start here. So they are lined up. That was just a little trick. And again, I will, since there are so long between there, I won't end there and start there. Yes, I would, but I won't have hanging such a long thread there. So I will just start here at the first hole and let a long end hang and go down in the next, and perhaps I will just try if I can do it in one work way. But yeah, perhaps I can, but yeah, you can, but you really have to be careful. So now my thread was going all the way through, so careful, careful. If you're a new beginner to stitching to paper, I would recommend you do it in several steps and not in one way as I do here. Or practice on another piece of paper before you jump into your best pieces. In fact, this is quite nice doing it like this. It's just hitting the holes when you come up. I don't think I hit it quite the place I should. But if you haven't pre-poked it, perhaps you could have done it. That is really it's quite nice to do it like this. Yeah, and it became a quite nice straight line. So I will just weave my end in here. And don't drag too much in the thread, so you make holes where you don't want holes. And I can secure this afterwards. So done with the two pieces, and I really like them. I get in a happy mood with these colors. You could have done a lot more stitching if you wanted to, but you can also easily go overboard, and yeah, that is up to you. You could have made 2 lines there instead of 1, and 2 lines perhaps there. And there I have 3 lines and I only have 2 there, but yeah. I like that the stitching are different places on the paper, but I can recognize it is cohesive because there are straight stitches and running stitches and back stitches, and it's the same stitch family, if you can say so. And the images are a little like the same, but not quite the same. So now I will just I have secured the threads on the back, and I haven't taped them. It isn't necessary, I think, here. So now is just to take my glue stick, and I think instead of gluing, perhaps I will glue around the edges, but I think I will glue yeah, I'm in frame. Put more glue on the whole book page instead, because I don't like if there comes glue up in the holes. These are quite small holes here, so I don't think it would be a problem, but if you have been using a bigger needle or make bigger holes, then it could be a problem, especially if you use matte medium or another fluid medium. So I will just go around here. And, yeah, where there isn't any stitching, I can go along here. And then I will see if I can go to as close as I can to the sewing, and I can see I have to go further down because this corner wasn't covered. I think this was better. So I will just burnish it down and be a little careful there where the stitches are sitting. You can also turn it over like this and give it a good rub with your fingers and let it sit. And I will do exactly the same here on this side. Yeah, I have just been cleaning up a little here around on my table because I couldn't get to do the close-ups and so if I have all this lying around. But I've just given a little more white there in the middle with my pen here. But I'm quite satisfied with it as it is now. So I would just let it dry. So I hope you have enjoyed this little video, and I hope you have learned a thing or two, or perhaps some tips and tricks you can use in your work. And try to stitch in paper. That is different than in stitching in fabric, but I like to do it, and perhaps you like to do it if you try it. So if you like what you have been seeing, please give my video a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing my little Danish channel. That would be very helpful of you, and I would really appreciate it. So I will say bye for now and see you next Monday. And I think perhaps there is for one week more, but if there is for 2 weeks, I haven't decided yet. But I will see you definitely next Monday. So take care and be creative. So and bye for now.